Is Arsenal doomed? Are Arsenal doomed?
Yeah, either which way, is or are, is it looking good for Arsenal, basically? That's what we're going to talk about a little in this video. How's it going, everyone? Timestamps down below. But, Arsenal's, not doing too great. And a lot of people have been talking about this and a couple other things in particular. So we're probably not going to add anything new to the conversation. But, we follow Arsenal the closest out of all the WSL teams. And they've already kind of had a tough month or so. Because I feel like we talk about this every year with Arsenal when they have an opening, when they kind of open a little slow, because this is kind of a transition, but NWSL is gearing up for playoffs, and obviously NWSL does it a little bit different. We have playoffs, we do the Shield and playoffs. The NWSL has crowned a Shield winner for this year, 2025. It is Kansas City. We didn't talk about it, but congrats to them. And also, we know that Orlando Pride won the Shield last year, and they also won the championship. And, great team. But this year, Orlando Pride may not even make the playoffs this year. I think they will make the playoffs, but just goes to show you, in the NWSL, you're literally on top today, on bottom tomorrow. You know what I mean? And I think it's exciting. I think a lot of people think it's exciting. Some people might not like that because in the WSL, it's not like that. So I guess we'll transition back to the WSL, because if you look at it, if you don't get a good start in the WSL, that's why I think people are saying, are they doomed? It's not like the NWSL. In WSL, you could lose games and you can come back. You could win a championship. It is harder to win the Shield, I will say, but I guess that's another difference. I think we covet the championship in America, and obviously in the UK, they covet the league title, the Shield. So it is different. But Orlando, where they went to being down, now obviously they don't have Barbara Banda and things like that, but still, it is pretty staggering how, and people say they don't want the NWSL to become like the WSL. I mean, that's always like a talking point. Let's see. So they have played 4 matches already. And Arsenal, they're in the fifth place kind of right now.
Oh no.
Yeah, they drew the last 2 matches, and right now it's the beginning of the league, it's the beginning of the season, but obviously if you look at the table, Chelsea's already dominating. Man United, Man City above them, even Tottenham is ahead of Arsenal right now, and a lot of Arsenal fans like, what is going on? Not again. This happens every year. Now, this happened last year. At the beginning of the season was very rocky. Obviously, that's when we know that Jonas, resigned, got sacked, however you want to say that. But last year, some people kind of made the argument like, hey, if they don't play well in league, they might not win any domestic titles. But hey, if they win the Champions League, all is forgiven almost. We win the big we win the big thing. Is that kind of like make up for it? And this year it's kind of different. Chelsea won the domestic treble last year. Now Arsenal's saying we want to win a domestic title. You know what I mean? We want to win Champions League, but we want to win a domestic trophy, something, especially league. But it's already not looking good for them.
It's all right. I have faith in them, and everybody calm down.
Well, and also Chelsea is kind of like, yeah, we're gonna win. We're gonna win everything. We're gonna win the domestic treble. We want to win Champions League. But Arsenal, and a lot of people are saying that's one of the reasons why they don't think Mariona or Alessia Russo won the Ballon d'Or, is because they didn't play that well in league as well as other teams. So that is what's going on with Arsenal. They are already down to 5th place on the table for league. And that's like the big thing. Somebody left a comment in our video last time. It was a Chelsea fan. The Chelsea fan says they don't even care about Champions League. They care about league, just within, WSL league. And that's what I think Arsenal really wants to do. And it does not look good right now. Also, this last week, 1-1 draw against Aston Villa. A lot of people said, they didn't look great. Aston Villa scored at the very last moment, the 90th plus 4th minute. That was the equalizer in the 90th plus 4th. So from going from 1 point to 3 points in 10 seconds of the game, you know what I'm saying? That's always hard.
Yeah, it's rough out there.
Yeah, and so people are saying, what happened? And now a lot of people are saying this is on Renee. The players look tired. there isn't the rotation that I think a lot of people want to see. And even Renee said she wasn't happy with the result, but a lot of people are saying, yeah, Mariona's exhausted. Foxy looked tired. Everyone looks tired. What about rotating the players? Also, Leah Williamson is still out. She had a brace on. Did you see that over the weekend? So she's not playing. But people are like, to go from the highest of high, I don't want to say the lowest of low, but also obviously
for them, maybe.
Yeah. Well, obviously they want to get in Champions League next year. I don't think they're going to stay in 5th place. But to draw points against Aston Villa, they're going to play Man City this weekend. But people are saying, what about Renee? What about, is this on Renee? Because a lot of people say the rotation of the players is not there. 2 players in particular, the Stars and Stripes herself, Jenna Nighswonger. I was trying to think of a way to say American.
I think American would suffice.
She has one player. Not only has she not played any minutes this year, she hasn't even been on the team list to play. So they can't, she's not on the bench. In 1 week, I don't know if it was last week as well, 2 goalkeepers were on the bench and not Jenna. So you think you have a backup goalkeeper? Okay, 2 backup goalkeepers and not Jenna.
That is weird.
And another player that we haven't seen at all is Kyra Cooney-Cross, who, played so well last season when she was asked to, played so well. And people are saying she is on the team list, but people are saying, what's going on? Why not rotate some of these really tired players and get them in there? Obviously, Renee's going to have to get them in there at some point. You know what I mean? And some people, so that's it. What's Renee doing? People are definitely talking about that. I saw this article. Ian Wright had a couple comments about it. And Ian Wright's also talking about Vic Pelova, but kind of like that idea. Where is the rotation?
Make some changes. The 2 Arsenal substitutes Ian Wright says should play. Arsenal legend Ian Wright has once again hit out at Renee Slegers' team selection, saying that Kyra Cooney-Cross and Victoria Pelova do not get enough minutes. The Gunners drew 1-1 against Aston Villa at the Emirates on Saturday, conceding a late equalizer to Lucy Parker in stoppage time. And Wright, as a pundit on the live television coverage, criticized the way that Slegers managed her side, saying that the big wins against London City Lionesses and West Ham United had given Arsenal a false sense of security after the first 2 matches of the season. Wright suggested that some squad rotation and seeking a second goal earlier in the match might have been a better idea. Mariona, who's played a lot of football up to this point, maybe 25 minutes earlier in the game, bring on a Kyra Cooney-Cross into the game who wants to come on. She needs games to get the ball forward. To get the ball forward with some energy, get some people running on to the ball. In the end, you just look back at it and think to yourself, it's a poor result, but it's a good result for Villa, because Arsenal didn't do near enough to finish them off in the first half when there were so many spaces and opportunities to do that. And that's what happens when you end up drawing a game you should have won. Ian Wright says there is not enough competition in the Arsenal squad. Wright, who criticized the absence of USA defender Jenna Nighswonger earlier in the week, added that the lack of variation in the team had a knock-on impact psychologically for both starting players and substitutes. She's got to trust in the squad. There's players in the team on the bench, Kyra Cooney-Cross, Pelova coming on, getting some minutes. They don't get enough minutes. She uses the same substitutes all the time. There's no difference in the game. There's no change. Someone who is going to come on and make it more quick and sharp for us because she uses the same players. So she's got players who are probably upset there now because they've drawn a game and they've got nowhere near the team, and we're drawing games like that we should be winning. Mentioning Nighswonger again, he went on, these players are not getting to come on and make a difference in the game. Make some changes. What's going to change the fabric of the game? There's not enough competition in the squad. People know they're playing in the team, and they know they're going to play for the whole 90, so they can just play how they're playing, amble along.
I need some clarity on what's going on with Arsenal and Jenna. Starting the pre-season, doing a good pre-season, I'm hearing from people, more than capable of playing at this level.
Yeah.
She's not even in the match day squads. 2 match day squads she's not been in. And we've had 2 goalkeepers on the bench in front of her. Now, if she's not injured, why did they deny her a loan move? Why would they do that? So Arsenal, answer that. What are you doing with this girl in her career? What, she's 24, I think. She's about 24.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so we're not talking about somebody who's got the time to come over here with that upheaval. She's not 19 where you think, okay, let's give her a couple of seasons. She's 24 and ready to go on international. So Arsenal, sort that out.
So I don't know how much of that article I left in, but Ian Wright basically says there needs to be rotation. There's so many quality players that aren't getting playing time. And a lot of people are saying if these quality players aren't getting playing time, then you're not going to have a bench where you feel confident in. Also, you have to think about Jenna and Kyra in particular, because are they upset? Are they unhappy? There was a video over the weekend after the game. I believe it was after the game. They did the huddle after the game. And then usually they do I guess they call it a lap of appreciation or a walk of appreciation, waving, whatnot. After the huddle, Kyra and Jenna walked directly to the tunnel. They just walked directly from the huddle to the tunnel. So
where's the appreciation, y'all?
That Renee has to appreciate them a little bit more. So I'm sure a lot of people saw the video. Maybe I'll play the video, but they just walked right to the tunnel. And then obviously Jenna wasn't even on the list, and then Kyra didn't play. But, do they want to leave during the winter break? I'm guessing Jenna wants to be able to possibly be in consideration for the women's national team again, or make the U.S. women's national team again. If she's not playing, she's not going to make it. There's no hope. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it sucks, but it's reality.
Yeah. And some people already were saying, well, she wasn't even a starter when she played on Gotham, that, her time is already passed on the national team, but she's like 25. So I don't think that's true. But if she wants to get back there, she can't stay at a club where they're not using her. And then Kyra wants to play, she's young, talented. We saw what she did last season. So that's kind of what is going on with Arsenal. We are going to read some comments. There is no order to these comments. It's just the ones that I saved. Okay, but they might start with the Arsenal comments and to the Kyra Cooney-Cross ones, but...
Really disappointed with Arsenal. The Champions League win should have been the spark we needed, but apparently not.
Yeah, so people are saying, after the big win, then that you're a whole new team, a whole new club. But yeah.
Arsenal just handed the league title to Chelsea one more time. What sets Chelsea apart is the fact that even when they play bad, they made to get a goal from nowhere. This season, Chelsea is really playing bad, but
Okay, so yeah, I kind of cut off the comment there, but a lot of people say that Chelsea does not have convincing wins. Remember last year we talked about there wasn't a lot of convincing wins at the beginning of the season or even at the end of the season. They kind of just won. That's the thing Arsenal can't seem to do. Chelsea, even when they're not convincingly win, they still win. I think that's what that comment was kind of saying, that you have to win.
The last time Kyra played was the 30th of April. It's not a good look, especially with the Asian Cup coming up.
Yeah, because she has to work on that. She's going to that. Australia goes to the Asian Cup. And then here's another comment, Renee.
Renee has gone down the Vigman route of keeping the starting 11 the same as much as she can. Problem with that is only Game Changer, who isn't like for like, is Stina. Caldente has been poor so far. Regarding Jenna.
Okay, so that's what people are saying. People are saying that Renee is doing that. Let's keep with our starting 11 that she wants, she likes, and not kind of swap out. At least early in the season, she's like, we're not swapping out quite yet.
As an Arsenal fan, I'm getting fed up. It's the same sub at the same times every match, and we are just so predictable. And every other team will know exactly what we are going to do and how to deal with it.
Which is so funny, too, because we go from Renee, she's the mastermind, she knows it all, to what are you doing, Renee? But I guess that's the way...
I was just thinking that, too.
But I guess that's the way sports go. It's what can you do for me today? Almost. That was great, but what are you doing for me today? And then someone says here, that's what I like about Sonia Bonpastor, is that she uses her whole squad and she rotates a lot. You need that, especially later in the Champions League, and especially in the Champions League games coming. And then somebody asked Renee about, her lineup, or why she doesn't put Jenna on the call, doesn't put Jenna on the game sheet. I'll have Sara read this.
I asked Renee about putting 2 goalkeepers on the bench at West Ham ahead of Jenna Nighswonger. says it wasn't a punishment. All players are performing really well and working really hard in training. Jenna is one of them. We felt like we wanted an extra goalkeeper in that game because of other reasons.
Yeah, it was kind of a weird comment in a sense.
Sus.
Yeah, kind of weird. I mean, for other reasons. Someone says here about the Arsenal game, about the Aston Villa game. This one feels like a loss. WSL is like college football in the US. You are not allowed to drop points. You have to win all the games. And it kind of is like that. It's not, especially if you want to win league. And then someone goes, bottled it. What was that lineup? Are the players fatigued? And the timing of the subs was so poor. We can't beat Chelsea to league if we're playing like we did today. What did I witness? We didn't finish our chances. Mariona looks exhausted, and well, why can't Kyra come in? Oh my days. Play Kyra. Up the pressure. We needed and want the ball. Oh, and then someone says, Renee to blame here. Subs on too late. And then I love, it gets a little panicky too. Everything is lost already for the whole season.
Sounds like me going straight to panic.
Yes, there's a panicker. And then someone says, KCC can't even buy a minute, and no journalist even asks a question as to why her and Jenna aren't playing. I saw someone ask Renee, maybe, I don't know if I have the comment here, but the managers always have a comment, unless they say something out of pocket, but they're like, oh, there's nothing wrong. We have another plan, Someone goes, if Jenna left, where would she go? Where would she go in the WSL, or would she come back to the NWSL? And that's interesting. Would she want to come? I would imagine she would want to go to a team where she can play. I don't even know what that means.
Back to Gotham, maybe?
Yeah. And then someone goes, Jenna should have never signed with them. She should be in the NWSL. But I think if a team wants you, like Arsenal, it's hard to say no. You know what I mean? We've talked about that.
Very true. Even if you're on the bench, I mean, you look good in the colors.
Yeah, and you have Champions League winner on your resume. I mean, you can't beat that. And then said, I don't blame them because Jenna is not being in the squad every game feels like a joke. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of Jenna, and then free them. So here's what Renee said specifically about Kyra and Jenna's lack of minutes.
When the entire squad is fit, we'll have plenty of options, and I'll only be able to start with 11 players and can only make a maximum of 5 substitutions. And those are the rules of the game that I have to work with.
Yeah, I don't even quite know what that means. Yeah, so I don't know. What does everyone think? Questions, comments down below. Is this something, I've seen this conversation a lot. Obviously, Sara and I aren't adding too much to it. We're just kind of reading what fans around the web are saying, but people want to see Kyra especially and Jenna, and Ian Wright said Vic Palova, and if you're not winning, you tied 2 games already, maybe switch it up a bit. And I think most people still like Renee. I love Renee. You know what I mean? I don't think it's a slide against her, but you're allowed to. People are just critiquing. Hey, Renee, make some subs, because there's times where Serena Vigmans gets criticized. Emma Hayes, the best. You know what I mean? So it is what it is, I guess.
All people in sports get criticized, really.
Yeah, exactly. It's nothing unique. Questions, comments down below. We'll talk to everyone later. Have a great night. Bye.